What's up, guys? This is going to be the full card breakdown for UFC Fight Night, Zombie versus Ortega. It's coming up later today, 4 o'clock start time for the prelims. So first, I just want to say thanks to everybody last week for hitting the like button. I had some people that weren't getting notifications. Definitely helped out. I got more than I normally do, so I do appreciate that. Now for this video, I actually recorded this yesterday. Had issues with audio, so this is going to be a little bit of a quicker version, just because I want to get this out. There's only like 5 hours to the event right now. And I'm having to redo this. So I'm going to talk about the bets, and then I'll just go through some quick picks after. And then for the big fight next weekend, Khabib and Gaethje, I'll get back to the normal layout. So the first bet I want to talk about, it's going to be a parlay, and the second piece is going to be from next week's card. I don't normally do this, but it was a play that I put together earlier in the week, so I just wanted to give it out. So it's going to be Antigulov and Grishin, not to go the distance, paired up with Casey Kenny. And I'll just pull that up. It gets you even money. So that was the first bet that I put in. And then another one, Caitlin Chookagian was another bet. Now, when we look at the rundown here, you can see that, there's a massive reach advantage, a massive height and a slight reach advantage, about 4 or 5 inches for Chookagian, I think. But, we've seen how Andrade fared against Rose Namajunas. Namajunas is not really that much bigger than her. I think she's about 5'4", 5'5", and then we got Chookagian at 5'9", which is a pretty significant size advantage. The thing with Andrade is she's probably going to look to grapple here, or just getting close, eat a few shots, because I think Chookagian has a bit of an issue with power. Right, there's nothing really behind her shot. She kind of just peppers her opponents and likes to scream, and hopefully she can avoid the big power of Andrade, kind of stay on the outside, fight smart, and pick up a decision. And that's what I was kind of banking on when I put the bet in. She is an underdog, and Andrade is probably going to go for the kill here. She's going to be hungry for a win. It's going to be her first fight at the weight class, and she's coming off a loss, so she's going to have something to prove in this fight. But I am going to go with Chookagian, and that's going to be the second bet of the night. Then next up, Jonathan Martinez. Now, I know some people probably aren't going to agree with me on this one, and I can see why some people will be on Almeida. His last fight, though, was in 2018 against Rob Font. Now, Rob Font's a really tough opponent. I'm pretty high on him, but he took a loss there. It was a second-round TKO in that fight, and then previous to that, Jimmy Rivera by decision. Now, in that fight, he actually got tagged in the first round a few times. I watched that one the other day, and Jimmy Rivera rocked him and dropped him, like I said, 3 times, I think, in the first round. So there is a bit of a chin issue there. But I do think Almeida is a pretty good fighter. And then for Jonathan Martinez, he's coming off an impressive win in his last fight. Pretty much dominated the entire fight against Frankie Saenz. Previous to that, he took a loss to Andre Ewell, but I thought he won that fight. So he really should be on a 4-fight win streak. In the fight against Andre Sukumtath that he lost, on his debut, that's the one that throws me off a little bit. I'm sure it throws a lot of people off, but he was significantly smaller in that fight, short notice, and he actually tagged him a few times, lost the decision. He wasn't put out or anything like that. And, I actually like him in this fight. I think that he could, even rock and drop Almeida. So I'm going to say that, second round TKO for the pick. But, I have Jonathan Martinez. He was a slight underdog. This is going to be a good fight, but I'm going to go with Martinez to get it done by TKO in the second. And then for the last straight bet, Fair Ziam, I believe it is, and Jamie Mullarkey. So, watching tape on both of these guys, Jamie Mullarkey's a really tough guy. He did well in his fight against Brad Riddle. Well, he did well to survive and kind of hang in there, put up a really tough fight. So he has a lot of heart. And then Fair Ziam, he looks like he has some pretty decent striking. He uses his range, likes to stay behind the jab. So, I think his plan here is going to be to use a slight size advantage and reach advantage, stay on the outside, and get a decision win in this fight. But if Mullarkey's willing to, take a shot to give one and, stay in his face the whole fight, make it nasty, he definitely has that path to victory. But at dog money, I think Fairs is a decent pick. So I'm going to go with Fairs. He is the third straight bet. And, as far as some, small shots that I think lines are off, Mark Stragel, I think that Said does have a bit of an advantage. I think he should be the favorite, but not nearly where it's at. Maybe plus 150, and he's at plus 300, I think, or something like that at the moment. So I think that line's way off. And then Matthews, Gamrot, and Guram Gadalazy, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. But I do think that one's off a bit as well. I think that Gamrot, again, probably should be the slight favorite, but the line's a lot farther apart than it should be. And I think that having Kazmat as a training partner, he's out there with Guram. I saw some posts about those two training together. So, he's a tough guy, probably the biggest prospect in the UFC at the moment. So, I do think that the line should be a little closer, like I said, in that fight. Debut for both of these guys, I believe. So I'm looking forward to that one. But again, another line that I think's off. I'm going to go with, Guram and what was the other one? Stragel. More so because of the odds, like I said. Jillian Robertson and Polyana Bantello, another one I wanted to talk about. Jillian Robertson, she's confident for this fight. I think she's going to get the submission. I do think that she does have a pretty significant advantage as far as the grappling goes and the submissions, but Botelho looks in really good shape. Looks like she's put on a little bit of size for this fight, or muscle anyway. And I think she's just going to look to stay on the outside, stuff the takedowns, and go for a decision. So that one's going to be close. I'll lean towards Jillian Robertson, but that's a tough one to call. James Krause and Claudio Silva. If Krause can keep it on the feet, I think that he definitely has that path to victory to just keep his distance and, tag Claudio and either, get him out of there late or even possibly a decision. I didn't think he looked great in his last fight. He looked a little bit slow, but he's been taking short notice fights. Silva, actually, what was the fight that I'm thinking of? In his fight against Danny Roberts, he was losing all the way up until he got that armbar in the third. Roberts was controlling the fight with his striking, and I think that's the path to victory for Krause as well. So he definitely has the path to victory. Not sure what type of shape he's in. Usually he stays in good shape, though. He's always in the gym. He is a really good fighter. So I'm going to go with James Krause in that one. I think the line's pretty accurate, though. Jimmy Crute and Bukauskas. So Jimmy Crute, if the line was a little bit better, he'd be a parlay option. I'm not really mad at anybody who did put him in a parlay. I like him to win the fight. Bukauskas can be taken down. He's a good striker. He's dangerous on the feet. I could see him clipping Jimmy Crute. He has that path to victory, but I'm definitely more comfortable picking Crute there for the win. I'll say by submission in the second or third round. And then we'll talk about the main event, of course, Brian Ortega and Chan Sung Jung, the Korean Zombie. This is a really good fight, really good matchup as well. I think the winner of this fight will be, looking at a title shot pretty soon. Brian Ortega already had that shot against Holloway. We saw what happened in that fight. But Chan Sung Jung, I think, definitely has a good chance to catch Ortega. If he has his cardio in check, I think if he puts the pressure on, similar to what Max Holloway did. Now, of course, I don't think Korean Zombie has that same style of striking where he can pepper Ortega for a few rounds and really tire him out. But he definitely has the power, and if he comes in with a smart game plan, I think he can probably get him out of there inside the distance. So I'm going to be taking Chan Sung Jung by TKO in that fight. I'll take Jun Young Park over Phillips, but I think the line's off there as well. Definitely wouldn't touch that. Phillips has a lot of power. Definitely has the potential to end the fight at any point if he catches his opponent. So I think Park has to be careful there. But, if he fights smart, like I said, I think he should probably be able to pick up a decision. So I'll go with Park in that one. I'm going to go with Grishin over Antigulov by TKO inside the distance. And now I'll pull up the bets just so I can go over it a little bit better. Just give me a second here. So Faraz Ziam, Caitlin Chookagian, Jonathan Martinez. And then the parlay paired up with the fight from next weekend's card. So Grisham and Antigulov inside the distance, and Casey Kenny from next week. I'm going to keep it pretty small in the straight bets. I do like that parlay, but as far as the straights, they are a little bit risky if I'm being honest. This card isn't great for betting. But but I always like to have a little bit of action. And when I'm not confident, like I said, I'll keep it small. And I like to be disciplined, right? So there are a couple over-unders as well. So Chookagian and Andrade, over 1.5. I think that's probably the best odds out of the bunch. I think it's like minus 140. Robertson and Botelho over 1.5. And then Zombie and Ortega inside the distance, and Crute and Bukauskas inside the distance. So just a few over-unders. I know, people like to use those here and there to tag on to the end of parlays, so a few options. And that's about it. I think I covered everything. Like I said, I'm going to get back to the original format next week. I'll still, pull up the bet site and, do it that way. But I like to get a little bit more in depth, talk about the fights a bit more. So to be able to get it out in time for the event, I had to do it this way. And good luck to you guys this weekend. Let me know who you have. I appreciate you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.